You should stand on their toes facing them.
Yes. And lick their foreheads.
Yeah, lick their in gentler times. Yes, lick their forehead.
Hard, man. Welcome back to another episode of the Jay and Kyle Show. Again, I am still Jay Perry. That over there, I believe, is Kyle Andrew. And today we are going to discuss a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Kyle, let's talk about elevator etiquette and what it should be. Because unfortunately, some people don't have any clue how to follow simple elevator etiquette.
Too many.
Right?
Too many.
I've been in too many positions where I'm just looking at these people. I'm like, did that just happen? And unfortunately, it did. So let's start off with something that should be simple: holding the door open for somebody. Let's say you're in the elevator and somebody gets off and you're in there and you see somebody coming down to try and get in the elevator. What is the distance that's acceptable for not holding the door or holding the door for them?
If you can see them and it's obvious they're pining for that elevator, you hold the damn door. I don't care if they're 30 meters away. I mean,
Okay.
Great eyesight. If you can see that, if you can see them, you hold the door. End of story.
Right. So as long as they're like, hey, I'm coming in, you hold that
Well,
door
you'll see
for them.
someone going like this, like they're,
Yes.
it's like there's like this obvious thing that happens.
Now,
If you identify someone visually that may or may not be needing that elevator, hold the damn door.
right. Now, what if you are said person needing the door held for them? I know there's part of this in me where the person doesn't hold the door just so I can pretend I'm Indiana Jones and just kind of book it and just kind of
Slide
squeeze
through there.
squeeze in.
Yeah.
And then just kind of give them the stare like, yeah, I did that. Now,
How awkward would that ride be?
right?
like you get halfway through, the door like bounces off your solar plexus and like goes back open because they're supposed to do that. And it's like boom, and then you get on the elevator and you're just like staring at them the whole time.
So I guess we come to the conclusion for the holding the door thing. If you are the holder and you see them, if you have visual on them, you do that. Now,
Okay, but let me ask you from the other person's perspective, because me personally,
Yes.
if I'm 30 meters away, I don't expect that door to be held. I only hope. But that hope turns into expectation at about the 10-foot, 15-foot mark.
You know, that's a good question because there's a lot of times where I'm at a position that's kind of far away but kind of close, and I don't want to put that responsibility on people.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
sometimes I'll just kind of shy away knowing that there's 4 other elevators to choose from.
Yeah, totally.
And I'll wait. Okay, so I guess that's a toss up, right? Depending on the person. But I think that if the person's close, you should hold the door. Something simple as putting your hand out, right? Especially if it's an elderly person, someone with a stroller.
Well, elevators have so many buttons in them now, and unless you're in that elevator every day, it's way faster to hold your hand on that door. Most elevators, when they feel that pressure, they reopen.
Right.
But then to try and find the door open button on this panel of like 48 buttons is like, it's usually near the bottom, obviously, but in modern condos, there's ground floor, then P1, P2, P3, all these parking structures, emergency this and blah, blah, blah. Just hold the damn door.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the 2-flight rule?
2-flight rule.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so because I like to think of myself as an elevator etiquette aficionado,
If you didn't
there's
before.
there's a thing called the 2-flight rule where, especially in buildings with multiple floors, we're talking high skyscrapers or something,
Yeah.
if the destination you have to go to is 2 floors or less, you should take the stairs. Because if you're getting on main floor and you're going to level 1 and said person's going to level 48, you're just wasting their time. So
Yeah. Assuming you can take the stairs, then sure.
we're assuming that you're, again, able-bodied and you can take the stairs. I think that elevator etiquette should include a 2-flight rule. if you're going up or down 2 flights, and you can walk those, it's not a problem, it's of good nature to abide by that rule. Thoughts?
Huh. That seems a little picky to me. I mean, that person still does have. Hey, let me ask you this. Have you ever lived somewhere that had an elevator?
Never.
No, me neither. It's only been family members, like my grandmother's apartment. I was so scared of her elevator. She lived on the 9th floor. Man, I hated her apartment. I hated her apartment building's elevators.
Have you ever been stuck on an elevator?
Yes.
Yeah, me
Twice.
too.
Twice.
Yeah, and I got kind of like claustrophobic tendencies. And
one of mine was a freight cargo elevator at Fever nightclub that I used to manage. Shout out to anyone watching that remembers those days. That one wasn't that bad because it was like between ground floor and basement floor. Like it just happened sometimes. And the other time was like an apartment building while I was delivering newspapers as a kid. Oddly, I was in there 20 minutes maybe. I was kind of okay.
Okay. Nice. Now, let's say you're going more than 2 flights, so you're not taking the 2-flight rule. You pop in the elevator and somebody is standing in the corner there. What is the etiquette on where you should stand?
You should stand on their toes facing them.
Yes. And lick their foreheads.
Yeah, lick their in gentler times. Yes, lick their forehead. But no, I think their obligation is to stand as far away from them as possible, but against the back wall for any potential oncoming passengers. And that's another issue.
Yeah, I think you got to put the urinal rule into effect, and you take the farthest urinal away possible. So you've got, if they're in one corner, you go to the other corner. And I think it's important to always face the elevator door. Think about that. If you're standing there and someone comes on and they do take the other corner, but they face the opposite wall, wouldn't that freak you out?
Yeah, now I kind of want to do it. Like I want to go into an elevator and like walk onto the back wall and just keep looking at the back wall. And then on the 3rd stop, like you got to do it in like a 60-story high rise. And then like on whatever the 3rd floor is, be like, oh, this is my floor. And then you turn around and go to walk off and halfway off and go, no, it isn't. And get back on and reface the wall.
No, I've never been on an elevator that has an elevator woman. Is that what you call them? I don't know what their
No, definitely not.
job title would be.
I don't remember what they're called. They do have a name though.
Yeah, I don't want to degrade the position because total
No.
respect for.
Do they still have
everybody.
like little monkeys and grinders or no? No, that's a different job entirely.
I mean, if they don't, then they're fake, right?
Oh, I have been on elevators with elevator attendants. I forgot.
Okay, so
there was an elevator attendant in the elevator when I shot something in New York City once.
now how does that process work? You tell them, they ask you what floor you're going to.
Yeah, they were sitting literally on a stool in the elevator and asked me what
Nice.
floor I was going to, and then they just pressed the buttons, and I'm like, I don't think your job is necessary.
Was anybody else on the elevator with you?
No.
Okay, so you couldn't really practice a lot of etiquette. I would love to see if they enforce elevator etiquette. I think this is my calling.
Yeah, I
To be
think
an
this is what
elevator
you're meant to do.
attendant and just enforce the law on elevators.
The law. I found that experience very weird, to be perfectly honest with you. There's a lot that goes on in elevators, though. People are so generally rude. Let's talk about getting on and getting off. Like,
Right.
this seems so obvious to me, but there's multi-steps to it. Okay, you're in an elevator with 5 people, but you were the first one on, so you're in the back corner, but you're getting off on the 13th floor and everyone else is above you. How do you get through that crowd? I think the only thing you say is, this is my floor, excuse me.
Yes, I think that you have to be watching where the floors are all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Always. You have to know where you are. And maybe if somebody gets off at 12 and you're 13, after those doors close on 12 and it starts moving, you make a little comment, my stop's next or my floor's next.
Yeah,
It's not like a bus where you can pull the little lever and it dings.
that's right.
You got to let people know that you've got to move. Now, let's say there's 3 or 4 people in front of you. Do they sandwich to the sides to make room for you like they're parting the sea like Moses? Or do they step out of the elevator and get back in when you leave?
You know what's funny to me in this entire conversation? I would like to think that we live in a world where people could understand that contextually speaking, that answer changes, but we do not. And for some reason, people need such very specific instructions. People closest to the door, up to 3 of them, get off to let you through if the elevator's that packed. Otherwise, move to the side. Like, it's just let people off. Like, there's no, like what are people so afraid of? You step off the elevator for a second, someone gets off, and then those people inside will be like, haha, screw you. You shut the door, and all of a sudden, you'll be on the 14th floor when you're trying to get to the 19th, and you're stuck there forever. Like,
Right.
what's the worst outcome in that scenario?
So our
The floor is lava?
Yeah.
Like,
Our agreed solution for that is if there is room, you can go to the side. But if there's no room, you step
sides
off the
first,
elevator.
otherwise out.
Let
Yeah,
them off.
yeah.
So as an elevator passenger, you've got to do multiple things. It's like driving. You got to be aware of where the floor is going, and you've got to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be like a Jason Bourne on the elevator. How many people are aware? If the people behind you are short, if they can see the elevator numbers or not, maybe duck, maybe move. And I think we agree on that. Now the big
I'm starting
one,
to understand why people don't follow this, because the training involved, it sounds more rigorous. It's harder to become an elevator passenger than a police officer in the United States.
Yes. So the big one, I think we've left the best for last, and this is the one that just kills me. You're on the elevator, 13th floor. You're with you and your partner, you and your dog, you and your whatever. Doors open to get off. There's 2 people there that need to get on, and they step in the elevator before you get out. That's the one that kind of... Now, granted, they had no idea that you were getting off there.
Okay, let's change the scenario, because I think you might have said this wrong. When you arrive at ground floor, like, okay, so if someone is on the 13th floor...
Okay.
So if someone's on the 13th floor waiting for an elevator, they're pressing the down button. If you're already on the elevator, you're not getting off on the 13th floor.
Well, that's
99% of the time.
That's what
unless you're visiting someone
going to
else in the
say.
building.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that the person who pressed the button to do that didn't know someone was on there, and the doors open, and they see somebody. I think the proper etiquette should also just be, well, maybe they're getting off. Let's just wait a split second to see if they're moving.
Yeah.
Before just put it, but I like your ground floor idea because that's
ground
that's
floor
a no-brainer.
or plaza level or like common gym levels or whatever like that, but not the residential area. This is just not a scenario would apply as much. But when it comes to ground floor, people that try to get on before waiting to see if anyone else gets off, or even squeezed by people getting off, like
Yeah. Now, we've had a similar episode about the cart corral thing and what the punishment should be. What should the punishment be for people who do that? Ground floor, they see a bunch of people and they try and squeeze in. Like the elevator is going to go somewhere, they're going to miss it.
1 week of taking the stairs.
1 week of walking 15 flights of stairs to their destination. How about that? Let's say they work at the first floor.
Right.
Walking the stairs there is not a big deal. They've got to go up and down until they've done 15 flights, then to the first floor.
Interesting. I like how we're always trying to physically punish people. Like everything people do that we don't like results in them exercising. So we're not only teaching them a lesson, we're improving their body mass index.
Yeah, because you and I both know that the healthier person is the person that exercises more. So maybe that they need this exercise to change their way of thinking.
Well, we do know exercise stimulates thought process.
Because this person who does that doesn't abide to verbal punishment, verbal warnings. Hey, don't do that again. Okay, I won't. They do it every time. We know that.
And it spills over. These are the same people that leave their shopping carts strewn about.
Yes.
I got to ask you something about this, though, because I think we're pretty much in agreement. The elevator onrushers are the worst offenders of elevator etiquette, right? Like, it's literally the worst thing you can possibly do on an elevator besides passing gas. But that's less of an etiquette issue and more of a, like, you shouldn't pass gas, but sometimes you have to.
I mean, nature calls sometimes,
nature
right?
calls. So when it comes to this elevator, like, we're now teaching people how to use elevators.
Yes.
When someone bull
Science
rushes
show.
their... Yeah, it's a science show, obviously. That's why you have a mustache.
I have a mustache.
If you're a bull rusher pushing yourself into an elevator when people are trying to get out, is that the fault of bad parenting? Were you raised poorly?
Whoa, this show just took a turn.
Well, did it?
Yes. Is that whose fault is it? Society's fault? People just trying to get somewhere quick, not paying attention. Entitlement. There's that's a whole show.
There's a lot at play there, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. So if we were to rank the elevator etiquette, what would we call them?
Most offendables?
Criminals.
No. Criminals, yeah.
Top would be the bull rusher.
Yeah.
Then we're looking at the person who doesn't hold the door opener.
That's them.
And then maybe
the non-give enough spacer.
Yeah, the non-give enough spacer. Oh, that one. Oh, man. You know, like, you're standing there and someone stands right beside you, and those bull rushers usually have a backpack. And, you know, they're always hitting you with it.
Yeah. You know,
okay, so
well, back to the stand beside her thing too. Is like there's scenarios where that contextually matters too. Like, I'm a really large dude. If someone comes and stands right next to me in the elevator, I'm like, that's weird, but I don't care. But there's a situation where you could make someone extremely uncomfortable when all you had to do was just move to the other corner.
Right. Even if I'm on an elevator and we're both spaced apart, like humans should be, I'm always got my guard up in the elevator. Always. No matter what.
Got your hand on your 9?
Yeah, because that's like such a vulnerable place where you and someone else, I mean, if that guy or girl decides to, I don't know, bust out some kung fu or something like that.
Right.
I'm not a big guy. I'm in a pretty vulnerable position. I always got my eye looking at them. Always. I got my one eye on what floor it is, one eye on them. I got another eye with how much space is in there. And I've already found where the emergency exit through the roof is.
Wow, Jason Bourne. Well, okay, so obviously to you, an elevator is one of the least trustful places you could ever be.
By far.
But are you wrong? Because think about how we've been influenced over the years. Like, how many movie scenes, elevator door closes, passengers are normal inside, drops some floors, opens up, and there's bodies strewn about, and only one of the bodies walks through. All
Blood
the time.
Everywhere.
Blood
Somehow
everywhere.
10 more bodies got in there. A couple
They stopped
animals.
on one floor, killed some other people. Why should you trust anyone in an elevator?
Ever.
The least you could do is stand in the right spot.
Yes. So I can't even remember what the question was and what we were trying
Well, wasn't it
to
we were debating
get to?
elevator etiquette and like, how do we punish people? We make them do laps and exercise up the stairs, 15 flights a day for a week, whether they're on the 15th floor or not.
Yeah, 100%. Now, I think that's our answer is that the bull rusher is the worst offender.
Totally.
Okay, are we trying to figure out what is good? Okay, let's for 2 minutes, then we'll end it. What is proper elevator etiquette? I'll give you a scenario. You tell me what you do. You are on the ground floor. You press up with your knuckle. That's another good thing. Science, we should tell people. Always use your knuckle. There's germs on there. You're on the ground floor. You press up. You're going up to floor 16. You're waiting. It comes down. Elevator opens. 6 people on there. Now, what's your move?
First of all, you just described a scenario that's impossible. Where am I again?
You're in Australia.
You don't press the floor number until you're on the elevator.
No, you press the up button.
Oh, the up button, and you're going to 16.
Yeah, you calling it down there. So.
Oh, so I'm ground floor. I'm calling up to 16.
Actually, let me change it up. Let's rewind a little bit. You're coming in the door. Elevator is 23 and a half feet from the door.
Yeah.
It's opening as you open the door. You say this, hold it for me. What should happen? 6 people are getting off. Let me just say that. 6 people are getting off. What should they do?
I'll be honest with you, at 23 and a half feet, nothing, and I'm probably not holding up my hand. Them's the breaks. That's how I look at that. I'm not close enough to make an issue of it.
Interesting. Now, let's say you are one of the 6 getting off. Other person says, hey, can you hold it for me? Are you one of the 6 that will spend 5 seconds of your life to hold it until they get on?
The person exiting the elevator has no obligation to hold it for someone entering it. If there's any remaining passengers, the obligation is with them only, as you have now exited and you are no longer an elevator passenger. So the etiquette no longer applies to you.
So once you cross that threshold, all elevator etiquette is out the window.
If you've crossed the threshold and not come in contact with someone.
Right.
Yeah, once you've exited an elevator,
passenger,
that line, you are no longer involved in this conversation.
Okay. That makes sense to me, and I think that's a good answer. I don't know where else we can go with this, so maybe we just...
How about this? Let me ask, are you the type of guy that when you're on an elevator, I'd go in, by default, you're going close to the buttons, and then you kind of just remain there. The next person that comes on, do you ask them what floor they're going to and press the button for them? Because I do that all the time. That's my move.
Yeah. If I'm there, I think that's a really good move. Hey, what floor are you going to? I got this, Just being a nice man or woman. Let me take care of that for you. Let me hit 6.
Yeah.
And then you give them a little nod. I got you. Brings up another point. Elevator conversation.
Never.
Ever, eh?
Unless you're talking strangers, right?
Let's put it in the scenario. You live in a building, high rise. You may have seen this person before. It looks familiar. Never had a conversation before. Do you small talk with them?
Here's the rule. This is the rule. If you are not friends with the person, it's up to the more vulnerable physically of the 2 people to start a conversation. So
Right.
I don't
That's a
bring
good
up
point.
a
That's a good point.
conversation with a 5'4" woman, but if she wants to say something to me, or a 5'4" guy, whatever, just I'm the imposing figure, so I don't start the small talk.
That's a good point. Now, is it weird if you're on the elevator with somebody and you're traveling up 8 floors together, no conversation, you're getting off, and as you get off, they say to you, have a good day? Is that weird? Should that be?
No, it's not. It's
Okay.
well-wishing. And the only if someone says that to me, I'm like, oh, that was nice, and I respond, go fuck yourself.
As you should. All right. This is. I think we've cleared up a lot of elevator etiquette for a lot of you. Yeah. If next time you're on an elevator, don't be a bull rusher. If you are a bull rusher, go to hell, as Kyle says. And this is the point where Kyle, take it away.
All right. Thank you for watching this episode once again. We appreciate all of your support. You're all very kind. We love to see your questions. We love to see you suggest topics for us to debate, to discuss. You name it. What should we do? How should we do it? Let us know in the comments. If you're not already subscribed, that's what helps us. Please subscribe. Smash the bell. That's when you can get notified when these thrice weekly episodes get launched. Yeah. Whatever profile you're on, even though our home is YouTube, you're probably seeing this. You may be seeing this somewhere else. Comment there, like there, share there. Please tell your friends about us. Do all those fun things so that we are incentivized to continue this journey.
And if we've missed any sort of elevator etiquette, please let us know. And more importantly, if you have ever been on an elevator with Ron Tugnut, please let us know how that experience was, because I can just only imagine it was amazing.
The best. It had to have been the best.
The best. All right. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode, and we'll talk soon. See you later.
Ciao.
Ready? We're gonna clap again.
All right.
10. Not just kidding.